Yep, we're talking about Zastava today. Buckle up, M26 Lemon Grenade. Still love you, Brad. Why does the internet seem to dunk on Zastava so much? Why do Facebook forums, Reddit, and other YouTube channels seem to have so much hate for Yugo pattern AKs? Well, first, we got to talk about why we call these things Yugo pattern AKs. For those of you that only know current Zastava USA imports, let's have a brief history lesson on Zastava and Yugo pattern AKs, and then we'll get into why everyone's wrong about these things. Yugoslavia was not a part of the Warsaw Pact. They actually were a non-aligned nation. They really did not want to be in the Warsaw Pact, so they weren't getting data packs right away from Russia. At the time, they were ran by a guy named Tito, who very much wanted Yugoslavia to be self-sustaining, very independent, very Yugoslavia. So Russia at one time basically just gave Yugoslavia the whole SKS line, data packs, tooling, the whole thing. They were really trying to sweeten up Yugoslavia to maybe come into the Warsaw Pact. They thought the SKS would kind of sweeten that deal. At the time, Tito wanted all of the soldiers, no matter what you did in the military, to double as a grenadier. So even way back with the SKS, we saw gas shutoffs for grenade launching, a spigot to mount the grenade, and just a more thick, robust, overbuilt version of an SKS. Eventually, Yugoslavia started reverse engineering AKs on their own and would soon get some data packs from Russia and still would make their own design. Because like I said, Tito at the time wanted everyone to double as a grenadier. So that is why you see some of the biggest differences with Yugo pattern AKs. That made them so different compared to AKMs and Type 3s, which were the two big variants that all the other countries in and out of the Warsaw Pact were cloning. It's so different, it has its own spec, Yugo spec. So this led to thicker receivers, bulged RPK style trunnions, and receivers to fit around those trunnions. Big, thick dust covers with spring-loaded push buttons to hold everything down with all the back pressure that they would get from launching grenades. That's a brief down and dirty. If you want to know absolutely everything about Yugoslavia and why these AKs are the way they are, Mishiko is my #1 go-to, and Forgotten Weapons has some pretty decent videos on that. But now you know why they are so different and why we call them Yugo pattern. And remember, Yugoslavia's not around anymore. For some people that don't know, in case you've been living under a rock. Serbia is now a small chunk of what Yugoslavia once was. It is now broken up to several different countries. The actual Zastava factory is still in Serbia to this day, which was once the greater Yugoslavia. So that's kind of a brief overall history of what the country once was and how these things came to be. So if you've ever wondered why Yugo pattern AKs are needlessly overbuilt, heavy, thick receiver guns, that's why. And once they started that pattern, they never stopped that pattern. That's why even today, you'll buy Zastava USA M70, still has the thicker receiver, still has the RPK style trunnion with the bulged receiver and trunnion, takedown pins to hold dust covers on, and other leftover features from back when every gun had to have the means and the strength to launch rifle grenades. That's why they're built that way.
Holy fuck.
So why all the negativity surrounding Yugo pattern AKs, Zastava AKs? Well, to my knowledge, I think the root cause of a lot of that is just the fact that they are so different, and it is such a unique pattern of AK. In this country, AKMs are honestly the most popular variant of AK, even Type 3s like milled stuff. That's the stuff you're going to see, I would say, at this point, 65 to 70% of the time. Because Zastava has become extremely popular. I would say at one time it was like 90% everything else and 10% Yugo pattern. I think that's gotten a bit bigger because a lot of people have bought these things and they have become extremely popular. But for the longest time, there was this big stigma with Yugo pattern AKs being so different, so needlessly heavy, just so different. You couldn't find aftermarket parts because everyone just made AKM stuff. Backup parts for these things probably weren't as common. It's an AK that shoots the same round as AKMs, and it's so much heavier. Why does the receiver have to be so thick? Why does the trunnion have to be so thick? The barrels are so thick. The dust covers are thick. The stocks are so much larger and chunkier than AKMs. An AKM's a pretty sleek, light rifle. And if you put the two together, they virtually do the same thing. We don't need all this grenade launching robustness on our guns. So why would I want a Zastava when I could just have an AKM? It does the exact same thing. It's lighter. Yeah, more parts availability. And I totally get that. And for the longest time, I would say that was true. But over the past, I would say, 10 years, a lot has happened with Yugo pattern AKs. Century used to import these things for a long time, and they really developed a bad reputation for poor quality. People don't know this, but a lot of guns come over in like a sporter configuration. They've got single stack mag wells, they've got thumb hole stocks, they have no threads in the eyes of the ATF, like they have muzzle devices permanently affixed. And when all that stuff gets here, the importer, it is then their job to desporterize these things. Sometimes move trigger packs, open up mag wells, expose rifle threads, install factory furniture on these things. When an importer does a poor job, it reflects poorly on the manufacturer, and sometimes the people making these guns overseas have no control over the quality of them when they get here and become desporterized by the company importing them. So Century, for the longest time, really gave these things, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion, bad reputations on quality. Many years of people not liking the quality of Zastavas that were being brought in and, desporterized by Century. And then, of course, needlessly heavy, no aftermarket support, yada, yada. It was like a double-edged sword. But in that time, a lot has changed. Century no longer imports these things. Zastava's making them over there. They've set up an importer over here, and under Serbian supervision, they're being desporterized. And I think today we're probably seeing some of the nicest, cleanest examples of Serbian AKs that we've ever seen. I mean, they're finally chrome lining barrels. They're finally giving us different stock options where you don't necessarily have to have the clubfoot, M70 stock that so many people don't like. I like them. I think it's more factory correct, but they've really tried to mold this thing into an AK that more people would want, and certainly taking the importation away from Century was definitely a good move. If you were to compare like an old MPAP or OPAP from back in the day to a current ZPAP, the difference is huge. The finish is better. Chrome line barrels. We don't have all the bluing salts that we used to see. Mag wells being opened up are done by a CNC now. Back in the day, a lot of that shit was done by hand, and you had a lot of jacked up mag wells. We saw that with Wassers too. So it's been a big change, a big positive change. And unfortunately, I just don't think it's rubbed off on a lot of the Zastava haters yet. And then, of course, the stigma of, oh, where's all the aftermarket support for these things? That has completely changed. There are so many Yugo pattern AKs in this country now. Like I said before, it used to be like 10%. Now it's much larger. The aftermarket had to make something. If there's this huge hole in the market and there's money to be made and all these people have these guns and they're looking for aftermarket, people will step up. And they definitely did. Now you have everything. Optic mounts readily available. You have rails readily available, which have to be made specifically for Yugo pattern guns. Stock adapters, also a very specific part needing to be made for these things. Just everything under the sun that you could have done with an AKM, in my opinion, it's all available for Yugo pattern AKs now. And I think I've proven that time and time again in all the videos of Yugo pattern stuff that I've filmed. I pimp them out a lot. Some I leave factory, some I completely pimp out. Got one over here that's got a barrel chop and a tunable gas block now. Like, the sky's the limit with these things now. So I have to honestly ask, where's the beef with these things? The aftermarket's there. The reliability's there. I think I've proven that with all of my videos, and I'll show you some guns here as well. And if you just look at the current catalog of Serbian imports, there is such a variety of variants and calibers. We're seeing the 5.56 M90. We're seeing the 7.62 M70 fixed stock and actual underfolders. We're seeing the 308 M77s. We're seeing the 5.56 M85s, the 7.62 M92s, all of which have really benefited from that quality increase from, Zastava USA doing their own importing. We're seeing the best finishes we've ever seen, in my opinion. We're seeing really cool furniture, the chrome lining of the barrels. We're seeing tunable gas blocks on a lot of this stuff. Like, in my opinion, it's a pretty cool freaking catalog. And what else did Zastava pay me to say? Or did they? I'm just kidding. Or am I? And again, full transparency, like all these guns over here, bought every single one of them. Zastava has no idea I'm making this video. I have talked to them maybe a handful of times at SHOT Show, and that has been the extent of it. I just feel pretty passionately about these things because I've put my money where my mouth is, and I've owned so many of them. I've shot so many of them that I just don't get it, man. In today's world, all the stuff we used to say about Zastava, the soft receivers, no aftermarket, oh, they're so heavy, oh, these features, they don't mean anything, I don't want them, just buy an AKM. I don't think any of that matters today. The fact that you can go and buy a super cool M77 in 308 with a tunable gas block, with available magazines is so badass at the price, super stinking cool. The fact that you can buy an M90 with a tunable gas block, an 18-inch barrel is so freaking cool. And one of my personal favorite things about Yugo pattern AKs is the huge world of surplus. You can go on Apex right now and buy wood stock sets from the Balkan Wars, carved up with trench art, with stickers from the 90s. That is so cool. All that stuff fits on these guns. There's every single gun you're going to see in this video has surplus on it, and it looks so stinking cool. Modern guns with surplus furniture on them look so badass. Now I'm going to go ahead and get off my soapbox now. I want to talk about 3 guns that I've had long term and how they've worked out for me. So you know that I'm just not talking out of my ass here. I can actually prove that they've been great guns. Let's take a look. Trend chart. This is the 308 M77, one of the most exciting things they brought in my opinion. It's a pretty cool gun. Got several videos on this. We have right now about 1,500, between 1,500 and 2,000 rounds. I know it's not a lot, but dudes, 308, like, shit doesn't grow on trees, man. I'm paying for all this stuff, but still pretty high round count for a 308 gun. Most people don't do that with their M77s, but pretty high round count. We've got several videos on this. We've walked it out to 800 freaking yards with just a small freaking prism sight on this thing. It's done absolutely everything I ever needed it to do, and it's been reliable, and it's feature rich. We've got a long barrel, thick barrel. We have tunable gas, dudes. Suppress this thing. It actually suppresses pretty good on gas setting 1. It takes an ALG trigger just fine. And what's really cool about all the Yugo stuff, when you look at the M90, the M70, and the M77, they all take the exact same furniture. The stocks and the handguards interchange between all 3 calibers. There's other variants out there that make 308 like beefed up AKs, and the furniture is pretty specific to that caliber. With Yugo pattern, it all fits the same. It's all common. It's pretty cool. So for instance, when I am perusing Apex and I'm buying all this Balkan Warwood, I can literally put it on any Yugo rifle that I have, which is pretty badass. Big old 308, it's not that expensive. I've got a pretty high round count through it. I've shot it out to distance. I've shot a competition with it. I've had a great time. Nice clean wood set. It is a very attractive gun. Ready for optics. It's got an ALG trigger. Safety's been tuned. 14x1, standard thread pitch. We've suppressed it. We've put brakes on it. It's got a flash hider on it now. Ready to freaking go, and a tunable freaking gas block. And the mags are cheap and available and reliable. This is my M70 AB2. Now this is a kit build, so this doesn't really reflect on current quality of the Zastava imports, but I wanted to put this on the video because I think it proves a very good point. This gun has been rode hard and put up wet. If you don't know what I'm saying, I'll put the link to this video down below. This is a government contract kit build put together by Sentry a while back, like around 2010. It has then been used for OPT-4 training by the U.S. military in California for a long, long time, and recently surplus to the American market. This is a good example of even a kit put together from Yugo parts that has had a very rough life. Very, very hard life. A lot of these guns that were sold were very, very rough. To this day, this thing shoots like a dream, does not malfunction, has some cool features, has gas shut off. We've suppressed it. It's beat up. It ain't looking good. Very cool underfolder stock. Everything works as it should. Great gun. I have no complaints about this thing. There's history to it. It looks badass. It's just a great gun. The fact that this thing, not all of them did, because the American military had the Dremel and they went burr. This one didn't get a lot of that, but if you ignore the fact that they dremeled a lot of these chambers for blanks, just the fact that it survived all that for so long and was still good enough for a lot of these things to be sold to American hands and, you know, pass headspace check and still fires to this day. I shoot the piss out of this gun. And look at it. Still runs great. It's a freaking tank of a gun. Super long-lived. It's just great, man. Pretty cool. And I paid less than 600 bucks for it. I almost wish people would keep hating on these things because it keeps the price down. And one of my prized possessions, this is my 3rd M90 5.56 Yugo pattern AKs. In the past, I had a couple of old M90 NPs. Some of you that have been around a while, you remember that. It was a 5.56 AK that looked exactly like this, that had an AR-15 polymer magwell. People hated those things. It was like, you know, even I look back and go, yeah, I can see why people would think it was gross. But dude, it was a 5.56 AK. They didn't have the Rock and Lock available at the time, and I've owned 2 of those. And shot the ever-loving piss out of them. I ended up giving one away to my dad once I hooked him up with some trench art Balkan Warwood. He, to this day, loves that damn thing. He's not a very big AK guy. He's just like, I love that it takes AR-15 mags, and he just loves it, right? Still shoots to this day. He shoots it quite a bit. Man, this M90, when these came in, dude, I was so excited. When Zastava announced the 5.56 Rock and Lock M90 was coming back, I don't think I've been that excited for an import in a long time. They came in during COVID. I actually bought it, got COVID, got really bad for like a month, couldn't shoot it, had to look at it all the time, dying, and eventually came out of it, and I had this to look forward to. And that has been like 4 going on 5 years ago. This gun has one of the highest round counts of any 5.56 AK that I have. It's lived a lot of lives. It's been configured a lot of different ways. And now, of course, it's in its final form. We've actually had gunsmithing done. Like, yes, actually paid a gunsmith to modify a Yugo pattern AKs. The audacity to spend money on such a cringe AK. Well, let's go ahead and talk more about it. I've had this gun so long that like this furniture set has almost become famous. Like everyone sees the Kula and the bloodstain and the name on the other side, a leak. It's like kind of the furniture's kind of had like a life of its own on the channel. It's kind of like my Carlton 7.62 Bakelite mag. People have been seeing that mag for so many years. It's kind of a part of the show at this point. But man, this gun has really treated me so well over the years. So much, in fact, that I thought I would treat it right back. Sent this thing to M13, had that 18-inch barrel cut down to 16, not pin and weld because I want to swap muzzle devices whenever I want. And we even had an Occam gas block installed that now has tunable gas. I'm waiting on the 5.56 gas puck. It's got a 7.62 one in there because this was a very early variant. But it's coming, so we'll be able to make this thing shoot even softer in the future. But we have a combo block. You just don't see many people modifying Yugo pattern AKs. Certainly, you don't see a lot of people doing front-end conversions on Yugo pattern AKs. And gotta say, dude, it's kind of cool. It kind of has a cool look. And these M90s, for instance, have the 18-inch barrel, and some people don't like how long that is. I never had a problem with it. But even at 16, man, it reaches out just fine, and it's freaking cool. And to show you how thick these barrels are, you see how the barrel is thinner there. So this gas block is made for an AKM contour barrel. So you see how much barrel had to be cut away on a lathe to fit this thing on. That's how chunky these Yugo pattern barrels are. They're thick boys. And a big benefit to how heavy these things are is the recoil impulse. Yugo pattern AKs, man, are heavy, yes. But dude, they soak up recoil, especially when you tune the gas a little bit or put a little brake on them. Even the current M70s today, I have a review on an M70 that's going on like 3 years old. One of my favorite videos I ever made. I was blown away at how a 7.62 by 3.9 AK out of the box had such pleasant recoil. And you know, the weight has a lot to do with that. They're just heavy guns. The balance is all towards the rear, in my opinion. And it soaks up recoil. So I think they are really good shooters. I'm just telling you, dude, if my opinion matters at all, which it shouldn't, because I'm a cringe YouTuber and you shouldn't let us sway your minds on anything, on how to spend money. So take that for what it is. Don't buy anything because of this video. But if you want my opinion, I think that a lot of the negative press that these Yugo pattern AKs is a little old, outdated. It's just shit that we've been saying over and over again for all these years. I think times are changing. I think they're good. In fact, I know they're good. Sample set of 7 or 8, just the ones I've owned. I've probably put more rounds through Yugo pattern AKs than a lot of the guys that talk trash about them combined. So I'm just coming from that aspect. I've shot these things. I've paid for them. I've owned them. I've modified them. I've had gunsmiths touch them. I've won matches with them. I've done everything with them. So my humble opinion, they're good guns. And I'll continue to buy them. And hopefully those imports from Zastava never stop. So, yeah, that's all I have for you today. Let me know, what do you think about Yugo pattern AKs? Did you learn a little something today? Did it maybe change your mind that you're a little too harsh on critiquing these things? Probably not. But at least you know my opinion, and I want to know your opinion. What do you guys think about Yugo pattern AKs? Let me know down in the comments below. Have you had bad experiences with them? If you had, just know every AK out there, someone's had a bad experience with it. But because of the internet, when AKs do go down, that's really the only post that gets views. That's the post that gets the most comments on forums. We love dunking on AKs that fail. We don't really hype up the ones that do well. They kind of fly under the radar. When things are all good, no news is good news. When things are bad, oh, people love talking about it, and I feel like sometimes it makes a small problem feel like an even bigger problem. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. We'll see you next time. Love you, bye. The steel mag looks best, I think. Oh yeah. You guys hear that? Sounds like I'm at a freaking Chili's and I just ordered some fajitas. Smells like them too.